Hello everyone, you're listening to the Stu Crompton podcast. I'm your host Stu Crompton and welcome to episode 2. I'm really excited to introduce to you my next guest. And you know, I'm passionate about bricks, but I never thought I would meet anyone as passionate or even more passionate about bricks than I am. But I did. We've already spoke before. It is none other than Sean Kelly of Marshalls Bricks Masonry. Welcome to the show, Sean. I'm really looking forward to our conversation. How's that, Sean?
Fantastic introduction, matey. And yeah, absolutely, I am extremely passionate. And I think when we first met, we absolutely hit it off because of that common, passion for. We both shared the same passion for our products.
Yeah, for sure. If you don't know, Sean came for a bit of a academy day, didn't you?
I did.
Learned to lay a few bricks and show me some products and that, and we had a good chat. I think you was there most of the day, wasn't you?
I did. I spent most of the day there. It was fantastic to just learn how you guys actually lay the products that we manufacture. We obviously also had a day at one of our manufacturing facilities in Rotherham. I think you and your old man came and had a tour of the factory and learned about the concrete products, how they've evolved, and the sustainability elements of it. And obviously we discussed some of your future products.
That was great as well, that tour. So just before we get into the gritty of it, Sean, I'd like you to tell the people listening and watching just a bit about yourself and your background, where you came from, and your story so far up to here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll go right back if you like, Stu. So right back to school. I did okay at school, in all honesty. Was not necessarily the most intelligent, but certainly not the worst. And I came out of school predominantly with A's and B's in certainly most of the subjects.
Well, that's not bad.
I did get an F in German. That's the only one that I don't usually admit to, but no A's and B's typically. Then went on to college. I did business, law, and IT at A level, which was great, in all honesty. Left there, and to be honest with you, university wasn't really an option for me. I'd always been, it had been instilled in me from a very young age that bricks and mortar were the way forward. You bought property, you worked really hard, and things would come. So I took a couple of different jobs and bounced around for around a year. And then just before my 19th birthday, I bought a property. Because of that, I essentially needed financial stability, and I wanted to do something that was going to be there for life. So I applied for a role manufacturing architectural cast stone, went in for the interview on the Saturday morning and started on the Monday. So
did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was literally Monday morning. I called up my current employer and just said, "Look, I'm really sorry, but I think things aren't working out, and this is the path I want to take." So went in on the Monday morning. Absolutely loved every minute of it. It was very physical. There was certainly no need for a gym membership. I trained for maybe 6 months. So we essentially manufactured art stone, so copings, heads, sills, portico, things like that. Every component, every unit is man-made, it's handmade. I used to tell my little girls it's very much like building sandcastles. So you'd fill a mould with a semi-dry mix, you'd compress it, you'd kango it into the mould, you'd scrape it off, and then you'd tip it and essentially repeat. So it was a mixture of intelligence and physicality. So you had to read architectural drawings to obviously understand the component, how it was manufactured, and where it would be installed, and then you'd essentially produce it and just repeat for each individual job. But no, I was very quickly learned I was actually quite good at it, and once my training was complete, we then went on to price work. So the first 6 months was training. I loved every minute of it, and then we moved on to price work. So because I'd just bought a property, the world was my oyster as far as I was concerned. I could actually go and earn as much as I wanted. They basically had to kick me out at the end of the day. But one thing that I never let fail or slip was the quality. So whilst we were producing huge quantities, I also ensured that the quality of the product was still there. I was very conscious, very aware that this product was going on someone's home. So whether it be a £200,000 3-bedroom semi-detached property or a £6 million footballer's pad, I didn't want what I'd manufactured to be the first thing that someone saw as they approached their property.
So pride in what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was always very proud of what we did. And then I consistently remained sort of one of the most productive for around 10 years, and I did that every day, loved it to bits. I'd work, Saturdays if the work was there. It was fantastic. And then I was approached by my then boss, which was a guy named Roy Howe, lovely gent, and still speak to him today. He's fantastic. He's retired now, and he offered me a role as the works manager. So we had 3 manufacturing facilities at the time, manufacturing cast stone, one in South Wales, one in the Midlands, and one in Scotland. So he offered me the position as looking after and managing that particular works in the Midlands. It was a difficult decision because I'd gone from price work and working fantastic hours. This was very much office-based, longer hours and quite a significant pay cut, in all honesty.
Just one thing, Sean. You know when you mentioned price work, you worked on price work.
Yeah.
So you was manufacturing these things, these
Yeah.
art stones, in the factory. So you got paid per unit you made, or was you going out there on installing them?
Oh, no. So we was very much manufactured. We didn't actually have an installation team. So we would manufacture the components. So if you take an ashlar block, for example, we would manufacture typically, as an individual, you would probably do around 200 of those a day.
Right.
And we were paid, our price work was based on price per cubic foot.
Okay.
So we had minimum targets set, which from memory was about 27 cubic feet per man per day. And typically I would try and achieve or strive for get around 54. I'd at least try and double my target every single day. So you were paid per cubic foot rather than per unit.
So you had that incentive to push on and master the art of doing it a little bit quicker, but remaining, keeping the quality as well.
The quality was always critical.
Yeah.
So every single day, every component would be, heavily looked at, and the supervisor or the manager at the time when I was casting and manufacturing would genuinely walk around, even with a torch at some point. So very, very, significant sort of quality control in place.
And I guess there's some type of science to doing things like that, isn't there? Because if you get something wrong, there could be cracks and you could have a lot of comebacks, so it's got to be done in a certain way.
Oh,
certain
absolutely.
Methods.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, when I very first started this, there was very little automation, so it was very physical.
Was it?
And the mixes were done obviously in a mixer, but as we evolved, as everything does, and it did become more automated, mainly from a batching perspective, but from a manufacturing sense, it was still very much manual. So I'd got to a point where I'd been offered this role as a works manager, and I was approaching 30 at this point, and I thought, I can't physically do this every day until I retire. So whilst there was a pay cut involved, and I had a little girl at this stage, and I had financial responsibility, I thought it was the right decision for me, for the family, to obviously take the managerial role, and I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Fantastic. So then that next role, what happened with that?
So I was the works manager of Stoke for 2 years, two or 3 years, and then again I was approached with potentially looking after the cast stone group, so looking after the South Wales, the Midlands, and Scotland.
This is Marshalls, is it?
This was Edenall actually, so this was prior to our acquisition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So we very soon then closed the South Wales facility.
Okay.
Consolidated all the work and manufactured from the Midlands and Scotland. So I typically have a week in the Midlands and then a week in Scotland, and I did that again for another 2-3 years. Again, loved every single moment of it. Quite challenging being away. I wasn't used to being away from home. The worst I would do is perhaps a night if I was meeting a customer in London or something like that, and I wasn't used to 3 or 4 days away from home. But I soon overcome that, and I was supported by obviously family, etc. But no, again, fantastic, and absolutely loved every minute of it. We were then acquired by Marshalls in 2018. And nothing changed. Fantastic.
Right.
The whole transition was great, and we were a well-known business at the time anyway, and I think Marshall's acquisition of us, essentially just escalated the growth plan for us,
Right.
and everything they did just helped us improve essentially.
Because you already had that set up there, that structure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they just took over the reins a little bit and improved it with the existing structure within
Absolutely.
that company.
Yeah, obviously, Marshalls being the company that they are, they're only going to bring good things to a smaller player in the market at the time.
Yeah.
So then my current role, I got a call from my current MD, a guy named Dean Harris, lovely bloke, and he offered me the role. He asked me if I'd go down to our head office in South Wales and have a chat with him. I interviewed for the role, so essentially looking after the merchant network for bricks and masonry. And yeah, that was 2.5 years ago now, and I again love every minute of it, and I never realised that I could be quite so passionate about brick. So yeah, essentially when we talk about passion for bricks, I'd historically been very passionate about cast stone. Didn't really know too much about the brick market, if I'm honest. We'd always had that as a separate entity within the company, and it was something that I was never really involved with. And then when I was offered this position with brick, it was quite daunting at first, in the sense that all these products, and I didn't really understand the concept or the offering, and to be honest, honest, it very quickly came, and I think that passion just came with the fact that I saw how the company has evolved the product over the years, and where the concrete brick has just literally developed so much, and over the last 5 years it's become, very comparable to our competitor products, and yeah, that's where that passion comes from, to be quite honest with you, because for me this is the future.
It definitely is, and I tell you now, I don't know a lot about materials like in bricklaying. I know a fair bit, but I know that there's always been a bit of a stagnant concrete common, kind of like you took over there, and then you started to think of ways to improve that into like a facing brick. Or am I wrong?
Yeah, well, we'd always manufactured facing bricks as Edenall previously, so I was obviously involved in the cast stone and not the brick side. So as a business, Edenall had essentially started off with the concrete commons, and then developed that product, developed the technology, the presses, etc., and they'd manufactured facing bricks. So they got to a point where the product was great, don't get me wrong, but it could be improved.
Yeah.
And then for maybe the last 10 years or so, we've listened to our customer base, and we introduced a perforated product. So the perforated product then changed the whole perception of
that was the challenge, wasn't it? Because it's
Absolutely.
always a solid brick.
Absolutely.
That could be easy.
Yeah, with that weight reduction, it then put us into a different category within the market, and people then started to actually listen and look at our products, and a lot of the major house builders, etc., the merchants then came on board, and our facing brick has just developed and evolved over the last 10 years to the point where now we have an absolute multitude of products. We've got over 200 bricks in the range, whether it be smooth, textured, creased, vintage. There's something that we can offer to any customer for any project.
That's fantastic. And well, the tour around the factory was fascinating for me. I love to see things like that, how they're made, and I couldn't believe the process and how much went into it, and all the workers and the different stages at which the brick went through.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it's
from
fantastic.
Just a little bit of a mix to like a fully cured, unbelievable pressed textured brick.
Yeah,
it was fascinating, and I respect that. It's amazing that I love things improving all the time, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, you've laid these products, Stu. What do you think of them?
I thought they were great, and I did a little job for my dad with the texture brick.
Yeah.
And he just said they look fantastic. He said a house would look unbelievable. Even just the corner I did, just a repair job, it looked great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in terms of the product and obviously the way that it's evolved, and we talk about people laying the concrete brick. Obviously, essentially, we've taken the weight reduction away from it now. So, I think a lot historically of our complaints around the products were very much the weight.
Yeah.
So it's very comparable now to our competitors, and I think. You for example, you've laid this product, and hopefully we can pass this on to other bricklayers, and maybe give them that new knowledge that this product has evolved and it's not what you would have laid 15 years ago.
Yeah, I mean the ones I've laid, I think it was the smaller perforation, because that's even changed the actual. We've got some bricks here. These are the engineering brick. If you could just show that,
of course.
I'll just hold one up here.
Yeah, of course. That's the blue engineering brick.
Yeah, so this is the blue engineering. Now the ones I've laid a couple of these as well, but they were like a rectangular perforation, and so that's evolved in itself. I know that there's it's difficult to process because it's compacted, isn't it? You've got to think about stress points, haven't you, in the brick when you're compacting it. And you can't go too big, with the perforation. There's a limit to the perforation, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely, and it depends what press you. So we've got 9 manufacturing facilities across the country, and we've got obviously varied presses that we manufacture them on, and this particular product comes off 2 of our presses, one in the south and one in the north. So it is slightly different in the perforation, but it's very comparable in weight to the oval perforation that you're talking about. I think one thing that a lot of our customers are big fans of is the dimensional accuracy of the product as well.
That's the biggest thing for me and any bricklayer. It's half the battle.
Yeah.
Because difference in brick sizes, especially if you're a meticulous bricklayer like me and many others out there, it can be really difficult. Because just one example, I set out a little extension, it's quite recent actually, within the last couple of years, and I set it out with some engineering brick. They were 215, and then the bricks I ordered, they were like a war common, and they were like 230.
Right,
the bricks.
Okay.
So I'd set it out brick length with the 215mm brick, and they came, and I was like, now what?
Yeah.
I had to cut every single brick down manually.
That's unbelievable, Stu.
Not
many would do that, in all fairness.
Well, I know, but I'll never do that again.
No,
you know what I mean? You should learn from mistakes like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to eliminate that and have that peace of mind that, if you stay with these bricks, then you can set out fine, and it just takes a lot of a lot of weight off your job, really.
Yeah, I think also saving time, Stu, as well.
Yeah.
You've not got to worry about, obviously, tolerance, etc. So, I highly recommend it for that reason.
Yeah, and because I use a Brickmate tape for setting out as well, and you just know exactly, if you're using the right size of bricks, it's half the battle. It really makes the job easier, and like I say, it saves time and mistakes like that, which can be made. Anybody can make them mistakes.
No, absolutely.
As Bricks and Masonry, what other types of products do you offer?
So, as Bricks and Masonry, obviously constantly looking at product development and new product development, existing product development, looking at new textures, new finishes. We've got some exciting new launches coming up over the next couple of years, which is great. I won't talk about them in great detail, but they're quite exciting projects. We've got the facing brick, which is probably the biggest part of our offering, if you like. So the facing bricks, huge range now. Like I say, over 200 bricks in the range. It's fantastic. We've got the concrete commons, which we've been historically renowned as being, a manufacturer of concrete bricks. The 65mm solid dense common is still one of our core product items, if you like. We've got the perforated engineering brick, which we launched back in February 2021. That's been fantastic, to be honest with you. Since we developed this product and we got it out to the market, the market's accepted the product, and we are selling considerable volumes of this product. We also manufacture some sporadic utility products as well. So we do 40mm slips, 140mm commons. We do frog commons as well. There's still a market for frog commons, typically sort of Cumbria and north of Cumbria. And we also manufacture lightweight products as well. So coursing brick essentially, and block.
When I think about you and your job, you seem to be like, you're continually looking for new ways and new development, and I love that. But coming from Marshalls and the way they operate, I'm just thinking you're costing them a fortune, because all these new ideas need a lot of new machinery, I would guess. So how do they cope with that?
Yeah, so a lot of the time, Stu, I think because of the presses that we actually have, and don't get me wrong, Marshalls are great. We have a new product development team that's fantastic. So we can put ideas. So I can wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning with an idea, and that idea can become reality essentially. So we'd submit the project. So if, for example, a lot of the time we'll work with customers on the project. So if a customer came to me and they had a specific requirement for say 5 million bricks, but they wanted them with a certain flashing on, they wanted them tumbled, so they gave that vintage look. We would work with the customer essentially. We'd go through the NPD team and we develop the brick with them, for them, obviously with commitment to volume. So the NPD team are absolutely fantastic, but we still utilize the existing presses, but there may be tweaks and things that we have to do to obviously get to that aesthetical appearance.
And a lot of testing, trial and error.
A lot of testing, a lot of trials. Absolutely. Obviously, from realistically from my idea or from one of our ideas as a group to actually putting that product out to the customer, you could be 6 months to 2-3 years, in all honesty, in some cases. So but we do everything right. That's the main thing.
And before you release it,
absolutely,
it's bang on for the market.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's a long-winded process, but certainly worth waiting for.
It's great to see the development, and who knows where it can go. I think
that's the exciting thing for me, Stu. And when we talk about passion, I think that when you think about the limitations or the historic limitations of a concrete brick, the fact that we can now put a texture on a product and we can tumble it, and if you stood back a couple of foot from a property, the honest truth is you probably wouldn't know the difference in materials anymore. I think the products evolve so much that it's very, very comparable to our competitors.
It's fantastic. And just to note that, like I said before in the introduction, I've never met anyone as passionate about bricks. I never thought I'd meet anyone as passionate, but you are the same. And just to give a quick side note, I went into a brick manufacturer's, Hughes Gray, sorry.
Yeah.
I won't mention his name. And it's probably just highlighting my OCD, I guess. And I was doing a feature project, I think, in the academy, and I was trying to find a square brick with a nice sharp Harris. And I was just asking the guy behind the counter, and I said, "Is the Harris sharp on this brick?" And he just went, "Mate, it's just a brick." I went,
yeah, I was like the whole.
It's not just a brick.
Yeah, no, I'm with you exactly, and so, I think not everyone will share the same.
There's
passion.
A lot more to it.
Yeah, there is definitely. I think not everyone shares the passion, and whether we're sad, Stu, I'm not too sure.
There could be that element too.
There could be that definitely, but I think as part of the Bricks and Masonry group, for me, that's the beauty of Marshalls Bricks and Masonry. All of the staff genuinely are passionate. All of the staff, from whether you are in sales, commercial, service, managers to the guys manufacturing the product, everyone's passionate, everyone cares, and without that team, we wouldn't be where we are today, in all honesty.
And I think that shines through with the end product in anything you do. If you have that passion for something, then you're really going to give it your all, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%.
And you're going to get the results at the end.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we're only going to grow, develop, and evolve. We're certainly not going anywhere. We've grown massively over the last 5 years, and we're going to continue on that path.
So we've talked about the bricks side of it, Sean. What about the wider sections in Marshalls, like different types of groups within the company?
Within Marshalls, there are multiple divisions, so we're essentially split down into different categories. We have Marley now, which is the roofing part of the company. We have the landscape protection. We have landscape products. We then have the building products, so moors and screed, civils and drainage, and aggregates. So all of these entities make up Marshalls PLC, essentially. I don't have too much to do with the other parts of the group. We do cross-reference, and we do talk about, obviously, our customer bases, and we help each other out. And, I've done my absolute best trying to integrate with other teams just so that we can share, ideas, customers, and things like that. But the wider group, in terms of the functions, they've been fantastic for us. I think, if we think about our haulage, so historically, as Eden Hall, we would, obviously arrange all our own hauliers, etc., and that would be a part of the service team's role. But obviously, since becoming a part of the Marshalls group, that we've sort of tapped into to the wider group and their functions, and they're fantastic, obviously, given the fact that we're such a huge company. And, like I said before, I don't have too much involvement with the wider group, but that passion, again, is still there. And it's almost like you have like a family environment, but in a huge PLC, and it just works. It's fantastic.
It seems that, and I've had experience with the mortars and screeds.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
So that's a different sector to what
absolutely, yeah.
A whole nother level of...
Like I say, I don't get too involved with the other products because, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to achieve is ample for sort of be occupying your mind. But, yeah, the other divisions are great. Obviously, know quite a few people now within the rest of the business. And, yeah, every division is essentially managed by... a team, an individual MD will manage a team, and that team tend to be fantastic. I've not come across a single, bad person since I've been working for the company. That's
great, and I had experience with that screed. It was fantastic. We built 2 houses in Skelmersdale. It was Skelmersdale, and they just come with a delivery truck.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. And even there's a method to that as well, because the consistency's got to be right, and there's retardant. You can have 36 hours, 72 or 24 or whatever. So there's chemical implications to making the mix right. And then the how soft it is, they come with like a measurement device. It was like a silver spike, and they just drop it in from a height. And then they'd have like readings on it, to say
right,
it was
okay.
like 14 was the perfect reading.
Yeah. I'm certainly not the expert in that field, Stu.
But I just think there's a lot more to things than you just think, oh, it's just mortar, but it's not. There's a lot goes into everything, isn't there?
Absolutely. I think as Marshalls now, because of the products that we offer, we can essentially almost supply every product that you would need to for your build.
Start to finish.
From drainage right the way up to roof tile now, and obviously everything in between. So, and I think the way that the company's evolved and the way that we are, developing, I think it's quite exciting times. We're almost becoming that one-stop shop for all products.
And that's what people want, isn't it?
Of course it is. It's ease of doing business.
That's it. Just start with one company and away you go, and that's it.
Absolutely.
It's more easy, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Give me one price and then that's it.
100%. Easy.
In terms of brick performance, how would you say that this concrete brick or your products compare with any others on the market?
Essentially, Stu, they're very comparable now. So as I've talked about evolution of our products, etc., over the years, essentially we've got to a point where we're very comparable in a number of ways, whether that be strength, water absorption, weight, etc. But the unique selling point for us is certainly the sustainability element. So I will actually quote numbers on this. We're at the moment we're around 49% more carbon efficient than our equivalent competitor products. So it's certainly great to hitting those net zero targets for the house builders, etc. And this is an alternative solution to a competitor product that they can actually save carbon. And the sustainability element of the product is certainly a driving factor for a lot of the major house builders at the moment.
Well, that's a fantastic benefit, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think even, at the moment, domestically, we think about carbon. There are more electric cars on the road. We recycle at home now, etc. And I think, that's only going to excel as time progresses. And I think our product is certainly, it's a solution to a lot of the problems that essentially house builders are going to face trying to hit their targets.
Yeah, and we can see that with the way things are shaping up with the emissions and the way future, the economy and stuff like that.
Yep,
see
absolutely.
where that's going. Looking at the future of construction and the industry, it's moving so fast, isn't it? And the systems we're using right now. What about the future for traditional builds like bricks and mortar, those types of materials? Because the way I think things are moving towards more simple systems like just steel and cladding, I think that's what I see around a lot of buildings and new modern design. What do you think about the future of these materials in 10 years' time?
I think there's always going to be a requirement for a traditional build. I think that will potentially reduce. This is just my personal opinion, but I think that will certainly reduce. I think with the involvement now of cladding systems and brick slip systems, which is certainly something that we'll look at, we'd be crazy not to. I think that will be the future. I think that, prefabricated buildings and ease of build will become, time is going to be of the essence, essentially. And I think that your traditional bricklayer may essentially slow down. I think that will become, again, my opinion rather than anything factual, but I think that we will see more innovation and more cladding systems and prefabricated buildings.
Well, who knows where it could end up? We'll never know.
We'll never know. Absolutely. Maybe not even in our lifetime, Stu, to be honest. But
right now, there's a demand.
There's a massive demand, absolutely. And I think, the way that we've grown over the last few years, like I say, we continue on this growth path and we'll certainly look at any opportunities, and any innovation will always be at the forefront of. But essentially, right now, we're focusing on, the future of our products and the sustainability element.
Speaking about demand, how have you found the actual demand for bricks? Has it increased over the last few years? Is there a pattern? Is it definitely increasing? I know we've had troubles over the last few years. Have you noticed a shortage in demand or an increase?
I think realistically, whilst I don't want to get into the pandemic too much, I think we're back to where we were in 2019 in terms of demand. I think we had two unprecedented years, 2020, 2021, 2022. I think they were, phenomenal demand was there.
Would have made any business go under.
It was just crazy. So, the availability of certainly our competitor products was crazy. I think I heard some lead times around the 24, 26 week mark. During that period, those 2-3 years, we increased capacity within the network. We were able to provide most of our customers with reasonable lead times. I don't think we ever extended 4 to 6 weeks. Part of our service offering as Bricks and Masonry has always been, we've been quite proud of the fact that we have the ability to adapt, so we can increase shifts and, we can increase capacity within the network and obviously supply our customers with a product within a reasonable time frame. And I think we certainly gained a lot of favour during that period because people realised that they could buy this product, they could have it in a reasonable time frame, very competitive rates with the sustainability benefits. And essentially a lot of those customers, even though our competitor products are perhaps more available now because the market demand's not quite there, they've stayed with us and they've been loyal to us. And I think that's been, testament to everything that we've achieved and the way that the product's now, evolved, etc.
And that's a testament to the company as a whole, like you say. I mean,
definitely every individual, like I said before, has been a part of that, testament to every single person that, we were crazy busy throughout the last 2-3 years, and, every single person dug deep, dug down and provided the customers with the service that, you would expect of a Marshalls product.
But it just highlights as well that even a massive company like Marshalls had their struggles.
Yeah, definitely. When we say struggle, I think we adapted quicker than perhaps some could and most could. So
you had the wiggle room.
We had the wiggle room, absolutely. So we essentially, we will always strive to provide our customers with that level of service, and I think, in the most part, that's exactly what we did throughout that time.
So what about some of your life values?
Life values. I'll separate this into two categories.
Yeah,
so work and maybe personal.
Yeah.
So personal. I've got two beautiful daughters, 6 and 12, Isabella and Lexi. They are, my motivation, I suppose. Every day I get up for work, and whilst I love what I do, I still need that motivation to, provide for them, and obviously the responsibility of being a dad. But no, absolutely fantastic. I'm very fortunate. They're both unbelievable kids as well. So, a lot of fun, especially now they're getting a little bit older and very cheeky, but very demanding. But no, they're absolutely fantastic, Stu. In terms of work and personal values, I think for me, it's always been about work ethic. Since I was 18 years old, I've always given 100%. So, if at any point something didn't work out, then, whether it be we don't quite do the deal that we want to do, or we don't quite achieve what we want to achieve, I know, and in my heart of hearts, I can always say I gave 110%, and I think that's quite, it's quite a good quality to have. I think that if everybody could do that and give 100%, we would be, and we tend to do that. In all honesty, like I said before, the staff are great, and I think everyone gives that, 100% every single day. And I certainly try and set that example, if I'm honest.
And that's great. That's a great quality to have, isn't it? I mean, just give it 100%. Well, and that's all we can do, isn't it? And just continually develop and try our best.
Yeah, definitely. I think I would rather try and fail and try a million times, and as long as you can get back up, dust yourself down and keep going, you will get there eventually. And I think that, that's personal and work related. Yeah. There's so many things I would love to achieve and help grow and develop this business, and it's going to be, a relatively long-term plan, strategy, process, but we will get there. I have no doubt about it whatsoever.
Yeah, and how you are personally, your views and how you carry yourself, that kind of ties in with your business and how you act in your business, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the characteristics that you sort of essentially learn in your personal life, you carry on into work as well, and that personality shines through. And I think a lot of our customer bases will be, you see the genuine passion shine through from the commercial team and the service team, etc. And you see the people that really genuinely care about the product and the business. And I think that transcends over to the customer, and the customer then wants to be a part of that, and they want to work with us because of the way that our staff conduct themselves.
Did it change you when you became a dad?
Do you know what? It did. I think for me, I always had that work ethic and I always had that motivation, but I can't explain in words it's the most unbelievable feeling, and you almost instantly feel this pressure. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm doing it right. They seem okay, they're intelligent girls, but all you can do, nobody teaches you. So you can train at work, you can do courses, you can get degrees. As a dad, that you go to the hospital alone or with the mum, you come home with an addition to the family. And I think for me, like I say, I love them to bits, and the moment you hold them, I didn't think that I could love something that much, in all honesty, until you actually hold them, look at them, and unbelievable. And I think even from a young age, they sort of give you different rewards. So the amount of effort that you put into them, and don't get me wrong, they are challenging, Stu, but you get little rewards. You could spend hours and hours and hours running around doing this, that, and the other, and one smile takes everything away. It's fantastic.
It's very special.
It is, absolutely. So no, I love being a dad, to be quite honest with you. It's whilst I'm very passionate and love my job, love work, I think they are always the priority.
And there are no degrees in mum and dadism, are there?
No, there are not. Absolutely not. It's very, very difficult. But I think for me, it's knowing whether you're doing the right thing or not. You can always try and work with it. It's about not being too strict, but also making sure that they've got basic principles and values. And for me, I always teach them that the manners are the most important thing in the world. And I think as long as they're polite to others and they treat people how they would want to be treated, it sounds crazy at 6 that you're actually having that conversation. But I think that they're very intelligent, and they do their manners are fantastic. They do treat people with respect, and until, for me, as long as they keep that and they maintain that, then that will shine through in their future and their careers 100%. And whatever they choose to do. So we're just trying to instill good values into them, and hopefully everything else will just piece together, to be quite honest, Stu.
100%. Those are the most important foundations, aren't they?
Yeah, relationships as well. Yeah. I think that's if they're a nice person, a nice character, they'll meet people along the way that will help them, and no one really wants to get involved with someone that's challenging or things like that. I think as long as they have their core principles, then they'll do well as they get older.
100%. My nan always said to me, always say your pleases and thank yous.
Absolutely.
It's something so simple, but it can carry a long way in life, can't it?
It can, absolutely. I think your pleases, your thank yous, and just appreciation, to be honest with you, Stu. I think it does go a hell of a long way with people. Manners, that's it. It's basic.
100%. It kind of revolves around gratitude, doesn't it, that?
Yeah, of course.
I think that can say a lot how you carry yourself, as long as you're grateful for what you have, you know. And we're always reaching forward, aren't we, and want to go places, but we often fail to stop and just look at what we've got around us already and realise we've got everything, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that when you asked me the question about you know, how did becoming a dad change you, it almost changes your mindset and your goals.
Yeah.
So, you know, you think that you're always striving for more, but then you then suddenly realise that this is the most important thing in the world. So, you know, where you might want to work 7 days a week and 18-hour days, you do think, do you know what, the time with this bundle of joy is far more important. So, you know, you still have to have that work commitment, etc., for provide for them, but it does change your perception on life.
And you come home every day and they keep you grounded because it's a reminder, isn't it?
Yeah,
well, absolutely. I look forward to that because I want to become a father in the next 2 years, hopefully.
Yeah. How was you and your girlfriend, Stu? Everything going good?
Yes, girlfriend, now wife. So.
Now wife?
Yeah.
When did you get married?
In January.
Did you actually? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
fantastic. No. Congratulations.
I know, in the Philippines, in Bitolan.
Oh, fantastic.
Which is lovely. It's hometown.
Is that, so when we were texting over sort of the Christmas period, were you there for the wedding?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic, matey. Brilliant.
Yeah. So, responsible now when you get married.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that's the next step.
Yeah.
But I think, like, as well, becoming a father would, like, you think you're a man, you think you're grown up, and I think it's nothing, like, until you become a dad. Oh. That's when you realise you're responsible.
Definitely. I mean, I was 24 the first time and 30 the second time, and I think you do things differently. So 24, I still felt like I was, you know, I did have responsibilities, I did have my own home, etc. But the responsibility felt far more at 24. At 30, you'd already done it, and I almost felt more comfortable with it. You can almost enjoy it more, Stu, because you've already experienced the first one, so maybe have two, just so that your second one will be far easier. I promise you.
I'm gonna probably try and get as many as possible. Yeah,
a football team, your bricklaying gang.
Yeah. So you've been at Marshalls for how long now, Sean?
So I joined, obviously Eden all at the time. I joined when I was 19, and I'm now 37.
Right. Okay.
So you do the maths, too.
Yeah. So, okay, a lot of experience there. What does the next 5 to 10 years look like for Sean Kelly?
I think for me, Stu, I've never really looked at the next step, if that makes sense, which may sound crazy, but I've always not fell into it, but always just worked hard in what I'm doing and essentially evolved as a person and obviously grew within the business. And I think for me, because I'm so focused, or the team is so focused on the progression of our facing brick into this market, I think the next 5 years is definitely about our strategic plan and the way that we infiltrate the market in a much larger way than we are doing at this moment in time. And I think for me, I just want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that journey with the team. You know, we've got a great team, like I said before, and just ultimately developing, growing, and you know, I'm very, very content with you know, where we currently are and where I currently am within this company.
That's great, and it's often a difficult question because it's like you have an idea of where you want to go in business, personal, you know, in a company and that, but it's like, I remember a book by Eckhart Tolle, and it's a very spiritual book, and I got it when I was at a bit of a low point. But it's really good. It keeps you. It shows you the value of the present moment, and everything happens in the present moment. So you can have your ideas about the future. The past is just a memory trace of the now.
Yeah.
You know, and the future is a projection of the now. Everything happens in the now, and you should give it your full attention. All the time.
No,
so
I
it's difficult because we can drift off in thought about the future, what happened in the past, and you know, it can get difficult. But you always try and stay in the moment, type of thing. 100%.
I completely agree. I think that for work and personal life, to be honest, you can always be striving for more and more and more. And when is enough? When is enough? You know, I want to enjoy this moment. So you know, the success that we've had as a business over the last couple of years is great. So we want to enjoy, but we always want to push on. And you know, what's the next step? And we always want to strive for the future. But at the same time, we also have to, you know, sit back and think, do you know what, we've actually achieved something fantastic over the last few years. So and I think personally as well, you have to do the same thing. You
100%.
Appreciate what you have and almost allow yourself to be in that moment and love what you have, rather than always thinking I want more or I need more.
True.
Yeah.
It's very easy in today's society as well. A lot of distractions, isn't there? And it's
absolutely.
Like social media. You start to compare and look at this.
It does. I mean, Stu, I'll be honest with you. Because of those reasons, I am not on any social media other than LinkedIn. So just very professional.
It's more professional, isn't it? 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah. So no social media for me, just purely because, you know, without knocking, I certainly don't want to knock anybody, but you know, when people are posting pictures of Lamborghinis, of course I want want one. And if I was looking at that every day, I perhaps wouldn't be as content with, you know, what I currently have, and I'd always be looking at that next step. So for me, I'm quite happy, quite content, and just want to, you know, work as hard as I possibly can within this business.
So with that said, you've already answered the question. Where can people follow you?
So I literally have LinkedIn. So you can obviously follow me on LinkedIn, or you can. I don't mind if you want to drop my email address in at the bottom of the podcast.
I can do that, yeah.
And then obviously, if anyone wants to get in touch with me regarding either the engineering bricks, the commons, the facing bricks, or any projects that we've got going on, or any product that they want to get involved with, even if it's a part of the wider Marshalls group. Obviously, if you want to contact me, I can put you in touch with the right group, division, or person. Not a problem at all.
That's fantastic. And on that note, thank you very much, Sean. It's been a fantastic conversation, really insightful for me, and it's great to hear other people's stories and journeys, and especially a big company like Marshalls.
Yeah,
I'm sure we could do this again sometime for a catch-up, mate.
Let's do it.
It's been great to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure, Stu. Always a pleasure.
Thank you,
anytime.
Mate. I'll speak to you soon.
Thanks, matey.
Ta, mate.